entertainmentbuddha.com.
Welcome to a brand new, I know it's been a long time, I'm sorry, Nick's sorry, but sometimes us Jedi, us Sith, we need to take a break, we need to scatter and head towards the coast and become one with Mother Nature again, and just kind of hang out. So yeah, we took a little bit of a break, but we're back, we're ready to talk all things Star Wars that we've missed, and honestly, there hasn't been that much. I mean, right when we left, I think, Nick, I can't remember if we talked about this or if this was during the first week of my basically 2-week break. But we got the first shot from the set of episode 9, so that was pretty cool.
Yep.
A few other things have popped up in between now and then, so we're just going to riff on that. We're happy to be back. It's good to talk to Nick. He got blasted this week. Someone in a TIE fighter took out his X-Wing on the highway. And he got roughed up, but he's here to talk to us tonight, so I'm excited. All right, man.
Got a little bit of pain medication in the system, so if this goes off the rails, we'll just blame it on that, but feeling okay.
I mean, it's going to go off the rails. That's just, that's pretty much how all these podcasts go.
True. But yeah, I mean, we're back. We're going to talk about a few little things here and there, but yeah, it's good to have Matt back in the state. Get on the mics again and fire things up.
It was a nice break. I'm not going to lie. I mean, for one, those of you, I don't know if any of you have checked out my toy photography on @HeywoodPop Instagram, but I got some, what I feel like were some good sessions at the beach. So hopefully some of those shots will turn out nice. We got some Marvel action going on, some Star Wars stuff, some Enfys Nest shots. It was good. I liked it. It's nice to just kind of tune out. I mean, dude, I'm someone, me. I mean, Entertainment Buddha. I'm on it all day long, social media, and it was just nice to just kind of unplug. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, to get away from the grind. I mean, like you're grinding on two fronts. You have the website, like you
real
said,
life,
and in your real life and your photography. You're really like. You're hustling.
That's why I sleep about 5 hours a day. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I like it, though. But it was nice to have those 10 days of just kind of disconnecting from that life, without a doubt.
For sure.
But we're back, and we have some interesting stuff to talk about. I mean, Star Wars is always interesting to people like Nick and myself. So, dude, go ahead and kick us off.
Yeah, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is kind of going to go back to a rumor that was first discussed on a couple of casts when the whole Solo debacle went down. When, everybody assumed that Star Wars was just going to be fucking thrown in a trash can and canceled forthwith. No more is going to be made. One of the films that was talked about was a rumored film that was going to take place on Tatooine and essentially go through kind of the underworld of Tatooine, kind of looking at the smugglers, the scoundrels, and the Hutt kind of region of that area. But it was never confirmed, so we were like, all we heard was that there's this thing, it was called like Tales of the Tatooine Underworld or something like that, and it's canceled. We kind of took it with a grain of salt because it was never confirmed, but we finally have confirmation that this type of movie actually did exist, coming from an interview with one of the production designers from that film. And basically what he came out and said was, they were just starting to work on it, kind of concepting and building ideas and building possible sets of Tatooine for this new spinoff. And then, the whole Solo deal went down, didn't perform like it did at the box office, and then it was, ultimately put on hold. So
do you think this is related to a possible Solo sequel, maybe tied to the often rumored Obi-Wan movie, which again just ain't happening? I mean, Nick sent me a link that Ewan again said, hey, I'd love to, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean,
and everyone could still be yanking our chains, but I mean, we've been kind of bullshitting this thing for a few years now, right?
Yeah. So,
but I mean, or it could have just been, as Nick said, just setting it up more from possibly the Hutt side and the gangster side of Star Wars. But I don't think it'd be a far stretch to say that it may have been involved in a Solo sequel. I mean, Ron Howard and what is his name? Alden Aiden?
Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah. They both more or less confirmed that there was potential for more movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they even set up the Hutt stuff at the end of Solo. I mean, it's very clear. Yeah, so
that's kind of one of the questions that's circling around this, this new drop is, what was this movie? Was this movie going to be the Solo sequel that would take them to Tatooine, or was it going to be something like a completely new spin-off that was just focused on the Tatooine underworld? I mean, like you said, at the end of Solo, they set it up. They said, I've heard about...
they're going to Jabba. And now I'm just getting pissed. Because it's clear now. I mean, this is the only reason we're talking about this, because as Nick said and set it up, we've heard this in rumor, but now it's essentially been confirmed. I mean, this is a guy that supposedly was a fairly well-to-do or in-to-know person who has said, yeah, I mean, it was going to happen, but due to this debacle, it's scrapped for now at least, if not gone forever.
Yeah. So the guy, his name is Neil Lamont, and in his quote he said, hopefully if that comes back, we'll get a chance to be able to do that further. So, who knows what, Disney and Lucasfilm told these people when they said that this movie was being put on hold. Maybe Disney said, let's give it some time to cool down and then we'll come back to it. Like, we're not throwing it away, but we're just kind of putting it on the back burner. 'Cause we know how, we know what the reception was to both TLJ and Solo. Solo much more box office wise than TLJ, but like we were talking off mics, like TLJ kind of like caused this explosion of like Star Wars hysteria amongst some of the fan base.
The only way I can compare it is to what has happened to Hawaii over this entire summer. I mean, with the volcanoes and the fissures, literally just fucking the island up.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the island as Star Wars fandom, and that's what's happening. I mean, it's literally splinters and massive explosions and beliefs and almost civil wars.
Yeah. I mean, basically the fandom has been split, not quite into two factions. It's not like the zealots that love TLJ and then the haters that hated it, because there's plenty more. There's probably a majority of the fan bases in kind of that middle ground. It's not like they're on one side or the other, but there is like a very vocal minority that is out there that's, on social media and that's attacking these actors, actresses, directors, and everybody that's associated with these, with TLJ and with Solo. And it's really kind of putting the brakes on a lot of these upcoming projects that Disney was tooling around with. And we can see that here.
Yeah, it's beat. I mean, it's beat. But, I mean, we've been talking about it all along. We've been realists. As sucky as it is, but, I mean, you and I from the get-go, once we saw the numbers, I mean, you especially were like, yeah, I mean, it's fucking fork this bitch.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, there was not a bounce back for Solo coming.
I mean,
essentially what they were banking on was that China was going to, for some reason, all of a sudden fall in love with Star Wars for Solo, but China has never been a huge market for Star Wars. So
if you want to appeal to China and you want to know how to do it, go watch The Meg. They nail it. I mean, dude, at the expense of the movie, and I have nothing. This is nothing against Asian actors, but they literally make them so stereotypical. You can tell just for the fact that they want to sell this in China.
Yeah.
And I watched Mile 22 today, and it's produced by Chinese studios now.
Yeah,
and because that's the audience.
And then, like, you know, I think somebody who's either in the know with Star Wars. Oh man, I can't remember exactly who it was, but they were talking to one of the actors that was in Star Wars, one of the more recent movies, one of the Skywalker trilogy films, and they asked him, they were like, well, why can't, you know, Chinese fans really come at Star Wars like they do with Marvel properties or anything like that? And this person said, he's like, well, they didn't grow up with it, you know, like Star Wars is so ingrained and so huge here because generations of families have grown up.
How did they grow up with Marvel?
Well, to a lesser degree.
I mean, that's like a combination.
Yeah, but with Marvel and with superhero stuff, there was that type of material there. Like there was comic books and superhero material, but it might not have been those exact heroes, but the concepts themselves were still present in the country, whereas Star Wars comes in and like there was nothing that was similar to it there, and people just never got attached to it like our country did. So yeah, I mean, it kills me that it's like slipping my mind who said that, but that was like a recent kind of little blurb that was put out. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to try to bank on China to save your Star Wars movie, then you're really barking up the wrong tree. But yeah, I mean, it's shitty to see that something like this is true and actually happened. Like a movie that was an active, you know, pre-production was essentially had the brakes hit because of the reception to Solo and everything like that. So hopefully we can get something like this in the future, you know, once the Skywalker trilogy wraps up or the Skywalker saga wraps up with episode 9.
I'm on record saying I'll take Star Wars every year. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like keep them coming until the day that I die.
I've yet to come across a Disney produced Star Wars property where I've been like, oh my god, this is awful, kill me.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's been no Attack of the Clones.
There are a lot of people that feel that way. It's just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, there's definitely no prequel level material that's come out from Disney so far. I mean, the closest thing that you got was just like the foggier scene in TLJ, but I mean, like, even that wasn't to the level of like the mess that we saw.
Well, a lot of people have issue with Canto Bight period, which I don't understand. I'm like, well, I mean, it did serve a purpose. Yes, there was a distraction, but it made sense why they went there at least.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like a complete diversion from the plot. It's just that
dude, but there's like a strong contingent that were like, oh my god, the bot.
No, yeah, they're just dumb because they don't know how to like read plots or
you didn't even need
lines.
it. It's like, okay,
it's like,
well, yeah, you technically didn't need a lot if you just were like, oh yeah, hey,
yeah. So, you know, hopefully after episode 9 comes out, we get a little bit of, you know, faith restored in the fandom and people can come back down and realize that, hey, you know, Disney's doing right by Star Wars and kind of let them explore the property a little bit more. That's 2019, so we're still a little bit out from that. Less than a year and a half now, because we're in August, so year and 4 months until that bad boy comes out. But yeah, we'll see what happens from there, though. But I mean, that's pretty much all we had to talk about on this little Star Wars spinoff. But the next few topics we're going to go into are going to be about live, active properties that we know are happening and that we know are probably going to be pretty dope. First one we're going to talk about is a little bit of Hamill kind of teasing with the fans and, you know, answering some questions on Twitter as he does. And this is coming back to the old rumor, the old story, the old kind of tried and true tale that Luke Skywalker somehow, somewhere has got a romance, a lady out there somewhere that he hooked up with post episode 6, and then somewhere before we see him in episode 7 possibly. But this is stemming from a lot of rumors out there that believe that Kerri Russell's character in Star Wars Episode 9 could be the Luke Skywalker love interest that we've all been looking for. So where this comes from is a guy on Twitter, of course, reached out to Mark Hamill and says, "Why do you think Luke never found love? I know that the Knights of Ren greatly impacted him, but Luke's a good soul." And Hamill comes back and says, "Maybe he did between episodes 6 and 7. Many untold stories there." So there's like a whole, like, this whole story.
He's such a troll motherfucker.
I know, like, this whole story essentially just comes out of that one tweet, him saying that maybe Luke Skywalker did find love.
Yeah, why not?
But
yeah, like he's part of the story group.
Yeah, I mean, not that the story group.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, basically, like, he's a director.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to that idea of, you know, episodes, you know, between episodes 6 and 7, that is like the time period now that everybody wants to look into, because that's the biggest chunk of time that there's no stories that are there, no stories told about any main characters. So we're like, I just want to kind of get your thoughts here. Do you think that, like, Luke would be someone to find, like, a wife or like a love interest?
I mean,
and
why?
settle
Yeah,
down?
why not? I mean, he was never a traditional Jedi from the get-go, just like his father.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke was even worse than his father. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he was 18 before he even learned of the Force. At least Anakin was, I mean, already tapping into it as a little kid with his pod racers, and then formally at 10.
Yeah, so he's definitely the one that kind of shook off or tried to shake off the traditional conventions of the Jedi.
I don't know if it's Kerri Russell. I mean, I don't even know if it's real.
Yeah.
I could buy into her being related to Rey somehow, but I wouldn't even be surprised if that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of characters.
I mean, let's be honest. After what Ryan did, anything is fucking on the table, dude.
Yeah. I mean, Kerri Russell could just be...
That's almost a genius in what he did, as much as some people hated it. In the end, the core themes that I think people are pissed about are all correctable.
Yeah. But what he did was, like you said, he opened up the possibility that, you know, there is no established, like, oh, this person has to be this. You know, this person, you know, if Kerri Russell gets cast, then she has to be Luke's wife or something like that. So it does kind of throw a wrench in the traditional conventions.
I still think the boldest thing he did was the Snoke move.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge move.
I mean, that's to me the biggest, most consequential decision.
Yeah.
But I still think it was right, because it was basically Kylo saying, "Eat a dick."
Yeah, and him ascending to the role that he had always wanted.
Like, hey, Vader, eat this dick too.
But yeah, dude, I mean, it's really interesting to see. I mean, of course, people's first thoughts are going to go to a Mara Jade type character when they see a brand new woman cast in Star Wars. Same thing happened.
I mean, she's just too young even to act. I mean, I love Mark, but it just it wouldn't work, flashback or not.
Yeah, Kerri Russell is much younger than Mark Hamill is, so they would have to do some significant aging on her to make her look like she was, you know, old enough to be with Luke Skywalker in his heyday. But the same thing happened with Laura Dern. Like, when Laura Dern was first cast, everybody's thoughts went to, you know, this is a love interest for Luke. And then, you know, lo and behold, the movie comes out and it's not. Again, like, it's not a love interest for Luke. She was Admiral Holdo, or Vice Admiral Holdo. And I think it's the same thing with Kerri Russell. Like you said, the ages don't match up. The timeline probably would have to be a little weird for that to happen, or Luke would have to be into some sort of weird, you know, student-teacher relationship if she was like a former, you know, Padawan of his. So, like, you know, there's definitely, to me, I don't think that that's a possibility for that character. But we'll see. I mean, we haven't had all the casting news yet. I'm sure that there's going to be some other people in this movie that we haven't heard about yet. So, you know, there's still a lot of time between now and release. So, yeah, dude, I mean, are we going to see a Mara Jade type character?
Nah.
I don't think so.
I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Yeah.
Like I said, if anything, I could buy her being related to Rey, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's just somebody.
Yeah. I
like
really...
a rose, like a rose, you know, like just someone who's more than just background, you know, not Snap Wexley.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kerri Russell may not be, the A-list celebrity that, Oscar Isaac is now, or, anything like that. Like, but she is a well-known name in Hollywood. She has a very recognizable face. People have seen her in a lot of other movies and TV shows. So she's definitely not going to like be Greg Grunberg, the female Greg Grunberg in here. Like, she's probably not going to be in an X-wing fighter, something like that.
I mean, she's going to be someone key.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, outside of Hamill, damn it, there was like an actor that I was excited to see in this one.
Yeah, I don't know, because we went through the casting.
Well, Billy D. I'm interested just to see that happen, but
yeah, Richard Grant was the guy that was.
Oh no! I mean, I'm sorry, Boyega. I mean,
Yeah,
I've just become a really big Boyega fan.
Yeah, because you were a big fan of, well, not really a big fan, but you thought that Pacific Rim Uprising was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I like the guy.
Yeah, he's a good actor, and I appreciate the kind of work that he does. So, I mean, even his older film, like there was this one movie he did called Attack the Block.
Exactly. That was his first. That was kind of his, breaking out, I guess.
Yeah, his like intro to
that's what got him Star Wars.
Yeah. So, he's turned into a really fantastic actor that a lot of people, really liked. He got a lot of roles off of Episode 7 too. Obviously Pacific Rim, and then that movie Detroit, too. I mean, he's done very well for himself, and I mean, he's played the role of Finn fantastically. So, looking forward to seeing how he does and how his character arc possibly comes to an end in Episode 9. But yeah, some good stuff there. Moving on from the ridiculous rumors about possible Luke romances and what happened between 6 and 7. I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of room to explore that, for Disney, and that can probably be done. And maybe some. Well, we know that Jon Favreau's live action TV series is going to take place after Episode 6, and in between 6 and 7.
Well, yeah, that's one thing we learned. Were they dropping a hundy?
Yeah, $100 million for 10 episodes. 10 episodes of that. No news about follow-up series or follow-up seasons.
I mean, this could be a one-off.
Yeah,
for a hundy.
That's a pretty.
And they're basically thinking they're gonna make that money back, right? I mean, they don't just make that.
Yeah. Oh no, they have to get the subscribers to make that. So I mean,
what do you think that takes? How many subscribers and how many months or years to pay that back?
Well, they've already said that like their price point is going to be lower than Netflix. So we know that for a fact.
What, $15, $10?
Well, dude, I mean, the top tier Netflix subscription's only $15, and that's like the 4K multiple screen.
Okay,
blah, blah, blah.
So okay, 10, 8.
So, yeah, I was gonna say I would say $8 to $10 is probably their mark. So if you get, I mean, if say it's $10, say it's like standard Netflix subscription $10, you need 10 million subscribers to cover that in one shot. Or I mean, I figure
I'm
that
sure that's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, I figure that with this, and then also there was another small announcement around the streaming services that you're not going to have any pre-2019 Star Wars films on the streaming service. So everything that came out before 2019.
I wonder what lawyer nailed that down for everyone else.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is big. I mean, because technically,
that's huge.
Disney owns the
crazy.
license, and Disney also owns, everything that they've made.
I'd assume, are they allowed to show the shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the limitation is. Maybe it's like exclusivity. Maybe it's like they can't have it exclusively on that service. I'm not 100% sure. But we do know that to some degree you're not going to have TFA, TLJ, Rogue One Solo on the streaming service. You'll have post movies, so you'll have you'll have episode 9, and you'll have the possibility of, you know, the other spin-offs coming out after
they
that.
don't have.
They don't have their own
That's
movie.
the first 6. That's the first 6.
Yeah.
7, 8. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, that is literally like the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes of the Star Wars universe you don't have on your streaming service. But, I mean, then again, we do know that we have a lot of good content coming. Like, we have the Favreau, you know, show that's coming out. We have episode 9 that's going to be on there. And any movie that comes out post episode 9 is going to be on there as well. So, plus you add in all the Marvel stuff and, you know, just anything else that Disney can come up with in terms of original content for that streaming service. I'm sure they're going to go ham and, you know, make plenty of money.
Dude, I'm out. I'm gonna sign up day one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I say within the first month they're over 1 million subscribers. Pretty easy. Like, you know, you have the.
I mean, I wonder, like, what are the deals on the other properties, like, say, Moana or Coco or whatever? I mean, Pocahontas. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
I thought all those were getting yanked.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because I know that there was a announcement around Ant-Man and Wasp. That's going to be the last Marvel movie that plays on Netflix. You know, period. Everything after Ant-Man and Wasp will be going to Disney streaming. So just be prepared for that, everybody. Heads up on that. But that also kind of gives you a timeline to when this possibly is launching. I mean, what Marvel movies do we have coming out in theaters after Ant-Man and Wasp? Like,
no, it's definitely 2019. I think that was hinted much in the piece you sent.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether it's going to be like early 2019, like Q1, or is it looking more like Q? You know,
well,
like
that's what
half.
we've asked, especially in regards to Favreau's show. I mean, I still have to believe it's going to be late, like fall 19.
Yeah. We'll see, because there's no definite answer on that yet. We have no.
It honestly depends on their infrastructure. I mean, have they gone to the cloud? Do they have the storage, the bandwidth, the processing to handle all the streams? I mean, that's all it comes to. I mean, you'd imagine all the content's already digitized.
Oh yeah, the content's already prepared and ready to go, and I'm sure that Disney.
It's just how they deliver it and make the money. I mean, they just need the portal and the method.
Yeah, I'm sure that they've already got the engineers working on that as well too. Like, you know, all of this. I don't expect it to be something, you know, that's going to crash day one because of traffic overflow. Like, they probably have enough servers, space. It can't.
I mean,
like that,
the fact that Netflix does what it does, I think people forget at this point, especially younger people, easily younger people. They just don't get it. They don't remember shitnet and, you know, dial up and this and the other thing.
I mean, really, really, you know, younger people. I mean, not even really, really younger people, but like younger people won't know that in the early 2000s, possibly late 90s, like Enron and Blockbuster had the first idea for Netflix. Like, they were the first ones to come to the table with an idea for video on demand streaming service. And it never happened because internet back then, like you said, was dog shit. Like, they couldn't deliver a product.
Well, dude, I mean, you got to think about Netflix from the beginning. I mean, it started out as a disc-based service,
in the mail.
really.
Yeah, like, I remember I was on the 3-disc plan.
And they made a hardcore pivot to the streaming shit.
Oh, dude, do you remember when they tried to, like, cut it in half? Like, they tried to split their business. Like, this is streaming, and then this is going to be the disc-based. And then there was, like, there was a riot, and then they canceled it. They were like, all right, well, we're not doing that now. Like... You know, but I mean, I can't remember the last time that I got a Netflix.
I mean, in the end, though, it was
mail.
whoever came on and started producing shows that nailed it and turned Netflix into a fucking like media juggernaut.
Yeah, powerhouse. Like, they not only are they the content provider, they're also the content creator.
Yeah, they're putting out some legit television.
Yeah. I mean, excellent stuff. Obviously, with the Marvel series, and then the original content for their movies as well is top notch. Like, really good stuff.
Oh, those 90-minute B-level sci-fi movies, they're good enough.
Yeah, I mean, they probably also don't spend a ton of money on them.
Exactly. I watched Extinction. I'm not going to tell you it's fantastic, but for a 90-minute sci-fi movie with a decent little twist, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I can afford that.
and then, they do stuff like that to help creators, people who are creating get on the map. And then they also have the bigger stuff like, Beasts with No Nation, and then all of the Marvel deals. And then, to a lesser degree, the Cloverfield Paradox. I mean, there's a lot of decent stuff on there that have been put out by legit filmmakers and TV makers and stuff like that. So
I like that Cloverfield movie.
I thought it was fun, dude. Like, and I know how it went. Like, they said that it essentially went to Netflix because they were afraid that it was going to bomb at the box office, which
right.
I understand that. Like, I could see that movie not doing well, but I mean, I thought it was fun, and I thought, like, especially
it got beat up. I mean, it got beat up, but
yeah,
I was like, hey,
but how much can you beat it up for free?
Yeah,
like,
it
you're
was
essentially
free. I mean,
yeah.
it literally, they announced it, and an hour later it was free. I was like, okay.
Yeah, not bad, but yeah. All right, so trying to jump back on the the train, the Star Wars train.
Yeah.
First tangent
Choo
of the day,
choo,
possibly.
choo choo.
But we're gonna finally talk a little bit of Episode 9 now, and specifically about the length of this movie. So we all know that in recent years, I think it was the first movie to do it.
I believe I personally called for this, and I think you've agreed.
Yeah. I mean, you were probably the first one of us to say that.
Yeah,
like, this is
I know for a fact it might have been in the last cast. We are talking about. We hope it's like Return of the King length.
Yeah, like
special edition.
Yeah, special edition Return of the King. We're talking,
like
4.5 hours. Like, go all out. I mean, if this is truly the last Skywalker film, like, it has to be the longest movie of all of them.
I mean, I'd take an intermission for this bitch.
Yeah, and we're talking longer than TLJ, and TLJ was 2 hours 35, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that was the longest Star Wars movie.
That's the longest one right now.
Yeah, so if we're going longer than that, we're approaching serious...
take me to 3 hours.
Yeah, I will sit down through it
I dare you,
5
JJ.
times.
Do it.
But, I mean, so what... Like, if this is going to be the longest film, do you think that Disney would even toy with the notion of a two-parter, like similar to Harry Potter or something like that?
Oh, dude. I mean, with all the chaos surrounding the franchise right now, I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, if you were gonna end it on like a cliffhanger,
that just gives like trigger-sensitive fans an excuse to bitch about nonsense.
Oh yeah, and the first thing that people are gonna say
You're
is
trying
like,
to rip us off.
They're money
hungry.
It's all gonna be about the money. They just want the money. But honestly, dude, if we're talking about doing this justice and possibly, hey, I mean, just saying it, like possibly giving JJ the space that he needs to do what he wants. Like, I could see 2.5 hour long movies come out of this. And I know that it would piss fans off essentially to the end of the world.
It's honestly nothing I ever thought about until you just mentioned it, but I think it actually sounds like an interesting idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're not working off of source material like we were with, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I haven't seen Twilight, but I know that they split their last movie into 2. And I think there are other examples of final chapters being split into 2 parts outside of those as well. But, I mean, this is a monumentous kind of movie here. This is the end of Star Wars as we know it, essentially. I mean, every Star Wars movie that we've had outside of Rogue One and Solo have been a part of one series. And for Disney to say that this movie, this Episode 9, is the final one, I mean, there's a lot of ground to cover. And especially with the new characters and, trying to wrap up threads. I mean, who knows? I don't know what the story looks like. Obviously, I haven't read JJ's script, but I think that there's some arguments that can be made for a 2-parter for this final chapter.
I mean, honestly, you could even make the case that the fact that they just started filming maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's due less than, what do we figure, 13 months, 14 months?
Yeah, there's
15, 16, something like that.
There's 16 months.
But we're talking about a Star Wars movie, not just like a little indie film.
Yeah, this is heavy CG work that needs to be done. Post-production, probably you're going to have to...
I mean, that even bodes well for your theory. I doubt it. I doubt it. I think it's... At this point with the climate, I just see them going, I don't know. Is it worth riling up all the goons again?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely can see that being a deterrent. Like, if the fan base was in a place that it was after, like, TFA, for example, like, if we were still in, like, post-TFA Star Wars where,
oh, yeah. People would probably be like, all right, fuck yeah, that's just another year to celebrate. I mean, that's how I honestly think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, I love it. I would love to continue this thing. I mean, I don't want it to end either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready for 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, it's just like keep the ball rolling. But
be it even if it's not even Skywalker focused, but just have, now talking more about Rey and the crew or just the new people under them. I mean, fuck it. I don't care. Keep it going.
Yeah, continuation of the new characters and stuff. So, I mean, we could also look at them saying that, like, the Skywalker saga is coming to an end as like almost like a diversion, because at this point there is nobody who is a Skywalker outside of Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, who is a half Skywalker. So maybe what they mean is, like, there's going to be no Skywalkers, but there will be a continuation for these new characters who are not Skywalkers. I mean, that's one way that you can think about it.
I mean, you would have to believe, honestly, if we don't blow the world up, that within due time they'll want to do maybe another torch passing.
Yeah. I mean, I think these
even if it's that, even if they're not just giving the new cast even their own next just 3 set of films as their own with none of the old people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take either one, but who knows at this point.
Yeah, I think that the idea of these episodic films continuing is really, like, I don't know. It's going to be so odd to see a Star Wars that doesn't have, like, to know that there's never going to be a Star Wars again that's, like, episode whatever. And there's going to be no crawl. I mean, because essentially the Star Wars stories, they've already done away with the crawl.
I've gone through it twice in my life, though. So
yeah,
and that's why I'm almost more bummed out about the shit we talked about earlier, where these now almost pretty much confirmed spin-offs are being halted at minimum, if not scrapped altogether, because you can't just string along these people. It's too costly.
Yeah, but I think that this is such a weird spot, because I think that there needs to be a center thread for Star Wars. Like, if the Skywalker saga truly does end here at Episode 9, and there is going to be no continuation with the current, the current new people, or that's linked to, the original episodic stuff.
We've said this before too. They have to link it together, even if it's just in passing dialogue.
Yeah, because I feel like out of everything that's come out and everything that's being planned, the center thread, like the cohesive link, is always to the episodic movies.
Well, it's just like in Force Awakens, how Rey reacts to Han, and then the knowledge of Luke. I mean, she has a genuine, like, holy shit, I mean, I thought you guys were just legends.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how, if we are just going to branch out, and that's what Ryan's going to do, excuse me, they have to reference Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo in the same vein.
Yeah, there needs to be a continuation of the thread somehow, because if there is no, like, apparently, I mean, like you said, Ryan's movie is maybe the series of films that kind of picks up and continues that legacy on, episodic or not, but continues to be that
he
central
said
thread.
it's all brand new characters, so you got to believe that it's not going to be...
Well, like, not really a continuation, but continues to be that central thread, like that central story that everything else then links to. So if we think about like the episodic movies as essentially the parents of all of these other films, I think that Ryan's new series, Ryan's new trilogy, is the spawn of that new parent generation, where all of the future Disney spinoffs will somehow be associated with that. And then eventually, you know, you'll have spinoffs that are still associated with the episodic stuff, but like they'll eventually kind of die down a little bit.
I don't know. I just, it's so hard to tell now. I mean, this whole Solo project just fucked everything up.
It did. Like, if Solo would have...
I mean, is it Solo? Is it Jedi? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you still have to put the blame on Solo at this point.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the first one where the impact was felt. Like, you know, we all knew going into Solo that there was a backlash and that there was a section of the fandom that wasn't going to see this film. But like, Solo was the one that proved to Disney and to everybody else that like Star Wars is not the Untouchables anymore. Like, it still suffers the same fate as normal films that have bad reception. So
yeah, it's not the Meg.
Yeah, the Meg. Oh my god!
But I saw that. It was actually a decent, shitty movie.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me because it's a movie with Jason Statham and a giant shark is essentially gonna at least be fun to watch.
That's kind of like, yeah, that's what my review was. If you just sum it up like that, basically Statham, sharks, good.
Yeah, I mean. That's if you remember fucking Deep Blue Sea from like way back in the early 2000s.
It's not even that ridiculous. Believe it or not, it's not even that ridiculous. It's still just that type of just dumb but fun movie.
Yeah. I don't think that's, you know, that's kind of what they were going for it. With it, but
of course, yeah, it was good. I watched Mile 22. I mean, I've been on vacation for a few weeks now.
Yeah,
I watched Mile 22, and I heard it was getting a bad rap, and I was like, what do people want anymore? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. I mean, who the?
I mean, it's fucking. It's an action movie with a bunch of fucking foul language. To me, it felt like 80s-esque, 90s-esque. But it did. The only thing it lacked from those eras was just gratuitous nudity. It was violent. It was vulgar in terms of language, and it was entertaining. It's like, what do you want? Of course, I mean, it's not going to be. It's not a Mission Impossible.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, people. It's like.
But for an R-rated action movie, it's a good R-rated action movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking. Mark Wahlberg and Ronda Rousey are like your stars here, and Ronda Rousey has never been in like a big budget movie before this. So,
well, no, she was in Fast and Furious for a clip.
Oh yeah, she was. I mean, like she was also in the Entourage movie as herself, but like I meant like in a central role.
Yeah, I mean, luckily she didn't get a ton of speaking lines, and the one she did, she's at least improved a bit.
Yeah,
because it wasn't as cringeworthy. I don't know, man. I enjoyed it, but hey, whatever.
I think people's expectations were a little high for the caliber.
I don't
film
know. I mean, what the hell were they
here.
looking for? I mean, I went in going like, hey, I mean, if they shoot some people and say the F word a few times, I'll have a good time. Fuck it.
Yeah, but yeah. So episode 9, possibly the longest film ever, possibly split into 2. You heard it here first if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's very... I mean, that's a take I honestly haven't even considered, literally. So that would be interesting to see how that plays out. I think it's a long shot, but I could also see why it would happen. I mean, you definitely laid out some valid points.
Yeah. So we'll see, people. 2019, if they announce a Star Wars Episode 9 Part 2, don't be surprised. You heard it here first.
Boom.
The last piece of news that we're going to touch on, this is the big one. This is the big piece of news.
This was fun.
Yeah.
This was like, there's, I mean, Disney, if anything else, they've definitely provided some sweet little nuggets out of nowhere recently just for Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and this one that we're going to talk about has obviously been announced already, but we finally get to see it in live, motion, not live action, but real motion pictures. Star Wars Resistance, the first teaser trailer has come out for it. And dude, I got to say, going into this, I already knew that we were going to have a different art style than Clone Wars and Rebels, but like, dude, this thing looks like it's going to be a super fun little show to watch.
I was just watching it real quick there. I just watched the first 20 seconds of the trailer, which that's what we're talking about. It's the first look trailer for Star Wars Resistance, which is going to debut October 7th at 10 o'clock at night on Disney Channel. So, I mean, is this really meant for kids at this point?
I mean, at this point, there's definitely they're building it to where kids can enjoy it. But
even towards the end, the Rebels, dude, they were starting that at like 9:30, 10. It's like, yeah. I mean, are we just blatantly saying, okay, it's for all you adult kids like myself that are 38 now and still right now literally getting excited about another Star Wars cartoon?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
10 o'clock.
It's exactly they figured out that kids will probably watch this with their parents if they're Star Wars fans, and their parents will let them
on
stay
Disney
up.
Channel. What fucking kid is watching the Disney Channel at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I mean, kids with very lax parenting, or lax bedtimes, or they're just, they have their TVs on and they're turning them off when their parents are walking in the door to see if they're asleep.
Hey, whatever. I'm excited. As you said, dude, I mean, it's the most unique, official looking, because offline, Nick and I were talking about this guy on Instagram that I've seen in the past do Star Wars anime-like pictures, stills, animations. His name's Daz Tibbles at Instagram. But I mean, this is the first time we've seen it officially, and it is fucking amazing looking. I mean, this is the most unique looking take on Star Wars, again, from an official standpoint, I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Clone Wars, the movie, first came out, people were...
Yeah, that was different, but they've now replicated that within Rebels and then the Clone Wars series.
Yeah, but this is definitely the most unique Star Wars property that we've ever seen. I mean, the most apt description that I can make...
It's the most artistic, without a doubt.
It's definitely the most artistic. And
because even Forces of Destiny changed things up. I mean, you've got to give the animation side credit. They've definitely...
expanded
while the deeper ones have been more CGI. Forces of Destiny, that was all hand-drawn stuff.
Yeah, and
I mean, this shit, dude, jeez,
it looks fantastic. Like, it's such a cool art style, and the most apt description or the most apt comparison that I can make is to Borderlands. If anybody here is a gamer,
yeah, I mean, there is a bit of a cel-shaded feel to it.
Yeah, so there's
it's anime. I mean, it's a very anime-esque animation style.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the characters look, like you said, kind of have like a slight cel-shaded feel to it, but they do have like an anime kind of look. Not really like complete full Japanese anime with like crazy big eyes and like over exaggerated motions and stuff, but like the art style is definitely different than we've seen out of any Star Wars property before. And then just like, the way the ships look, like, the ships that we've seen look fantastic. And, you still, like, within this trailer, you get to see some established characters like BB-8 and Poe Dameron in there.
By the way, I mean, those are going to be voiced by the real people. That would... It kind of adds a little bit of panache to this series.
Yeah, exactly. Like Poe Dameron is Oscar Isaac. You know, he's the one reading the lines.
We know Gwendolyn's going to be in it because Phasma's going to make an appearance.
Yeah. The only thing that I will say is that, like, do you feel that Poe looks old in this? Like, I looked at Poe's face and I was like, man, he looks older than what he is in the movies.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
but it could just be
all right.
Yeah, it could just be
I think if anything else, BB-8 looks good.
Yeah, BB-8 looks really awesome. I really want to see if we're going to get some R2-D2 in here, because I think that this is taking place...
Well, of course he'd be around.
Yeah. Depending on the timeline, though, like, depending on where this
I kind of see what you mean on that first intro, Poe, like, right where you get the face on.
Yeah, he does look a little old, but, like, depending... Like, if this is pre-7... He looks
weary as fuck, if anything else.
Yeah, tired might be the way to put it. But for R2, if this is taking place pre-Episode 7, then we probably won't get him because he was in shutdown mode from when Luke was gone.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I guess it depends on how far this series will expand. Does it, is it going to move past Episode 7 and then cross into Episode 8, Episode 9 territory? I think there's a lot of opportunity there. But yeah, dude, I'm really excited for it. Like,
do you remember what Homeboy's name's gonna be?
The new character?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll look it up. We're on the internet here, people. I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I forget. I know it's something interesting.
Star Wars Resistance main character. Let's see. Nope, that's not it.
I got it.
Oh, you did.
Kazuda. Basically, okay. Kazuda, but he's probably going to be called Kaz, K-A-Z, and then his last name is Xiono.
Shiono. Okay, yeah. That's the.
And he's basically he's going to be a spy for the Resistance.
Yeah.
And this is just like this is around the time when the First Order is just still they're still kind of fringish, but they're really starting to amass their power.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm looking at some of the people here who's going to be in the show, so like you said, you have Gwendolyn Christie and Oscar Isaac returning to do their parts of Poe Dameron and Captain Phasma. We're also going to have Donald Faison, who is famous from his time on Scrubs. If you ever watched the show Scrubs, he played...
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great show. He played in that series. And then kind of going through and looking at other people, you have... It looks like the main character is John Brenner, who is, if you watch Silicon Valley, that is Big Head. So he's going to be playing, I think, the primary character in the show. But yeah, dude, there's a lot of cool stuff that I think is going to be able to happen here, and a lot of gaps that are going to be filled for the Star Wars franchise within this TV series.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be your first crack at prequel era Force Awakens trilogy stuff.
Yeah, like covering those missed moments that, starting to fill in the gaps between 6 and 7. Definitely closer to 7, like you said, more around the rise and, the rise of the First Order and the, I guess you would say the formation of the Resistance maybe. But yeah, I mean, because like if you listen to the trailer, they're talking about, find out who's loyal to the good guys and who's against the bad guys. So there's going to be a lot of that in there, a lot of formation of the Resistance and figuring out where allegiances lie. So I think that should be pretty cool. Did you have like a particular favorite moment from it?
Honestly, just the opening. I like how it kind of kicks right into it, and especially the close up on his helmet.
Yeah.
When he's clearly, zipping off somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the ships are very different looking. I mean, BB-8 looks awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely it's a new feel. It's a completely new feel, like we were talking about, and it's unlike anything that we've seen in Star Wars before, even video game Star Wars land, because most of the video games for Star Wars, outside of the Lego ones, go for a more of a realistic style of art. They don't go for like cartoon style or anything like that. So yeah, man, I'm pretty hyped for this. I think it's going to be a fun little ride to go through. Seeing characters like Phasma in here, like Poe Dameron in here, I assume that we may get
I'm pretty sure
more.
she makes an appearance.
Yeah, she pops up in the trailer. Let me see if I can find.
Boom! It's it's one frame right towards the end.
Yeah, let me see if I can like find the time mark on it.
I got it. 51 seconds.
51 seconds. There we go. Yeah.
Nah, that's a regular trooper actually.
It's 51 seconds because it's gold. The armor is gold.
I don't know, but I mean, there's no cape, so
yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's not Phasma, or maybe, I mean, who knows? But it's a completely gold-plated trooper.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a First Order trooper. You can tell by the shape of the helmet and just the overall look of it and the weapon as well. Yeah, dude, I think it looks dope. Obviously, if you're gonna go read the fucking YouTube comments, it's gonna be filled with cellar dwellers and mouth breathers.
Really? I didn't even look.
Yeah, dude, it's rough on the YouTube comments, but I don't really give a shit about that.
Fuck it.
Yeah. People just don't fucking realize that Star Wars was dead. Fucking go back to 2008, people. Go back 10 years from now, and if somebody told you there was going to be a new Star Wars series, a new Star Wars movie, like, you would have lost your mind. And now, like, we have people who are literally trying to get Star Wars killed again. Like, it's fucking insane. But
oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. Maybe people will learn. You don't know.
Yeah.
You gotta give it a chance. I mean, in the end, you're not even gonna have to pay for this shit, because I guarantee it's gonna end up one of their free services where you have to watch a fucking ad or two.
Yeah, I mean, and Disney Channel proper is what it's gonna be on, so it's not like you have to have an extended cable package to catch it. Like, and if more than likely, backlog seasons will be on Disney's streaming service, so you'll be able to see it there. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, and it's going to be easily accessible.
Don't write it off. Don't think you're too good for a cartoon, because I mean, honestly, as the Clone Wars has proven, and even Rebels, sometimes the cartoon animations can be just as good, if not better, at telling Star Wars stories than the live action stuff.
Exactly, 100%. Because I was one of those people at first who was like, I saw the Clone Wars movie in theaters on when they still had sneak previews, like when you actually had to get a ticket to a sneak preview of a movie. I was able to see it on one of those, and I was like, man, it's cool, but I don't know, cartoon Star Wars doesn't seem like my kind of thing. And I kind of wrote off the TV series there for a while, but having watched the whole series, seeing everything play through multiple times, I mean, it was a fantastic series.
Yeah, and it's coming back. That's the best part. We're at least getting
a proper final season.
Exactly, like some sort of finish to it.
Yeah.
I still don't know how they're going to tie it into the Lost missions, because those truly were just
random episodes.
I mean, we kind of had these in the can to scatter throughout a season.
Yeah.
Because they always did kind of have a few random episodes that didn't really move along any sort of main plot.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm glad that we did get the Lost missions just at the time, so we could continue it through Netflix right when the cancellation happened. But it was definitely, it left a lot to be desired in terms of a final chapter, and now we're going to get a proper one.
Do you think the Clone Wars stays on Netflix, or does that go to Disney?
See, dude, that's such a weird one, because technically Disney owns the license, but I don't think they own that property. I'm not sure what the agreements are on that deal.
Netflix obviously will still have to pay a fee, but Disney doesn't have the authority to say you're not allowed to have it at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like you said, it's pretty much anything once they renegotiated or redid the deal with Netflix, or basically said we're done from here on out.
Yeah.
yeah, you can have this at least through our contract or forever. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
So yeah, dude. I mean, I'm excited to see where Resistance goes, what gaps it fills in. If we're gonna see characters like, Admiral Holdo, Vice Admiral Holdo. If we're gonna see people like, Finn, possibly have a thread there for him. Even Rose. I mean, Rose was a member of the Resistance from early on.
How dare you talk about Rose?
You're right. I will have the trolls on my back. No doubt about it. But yeah, dude, I'm excited to see where this series goes. So
yeah. So I mean, even though we missed a few weeks, there's still a few little fun things to talk about, and I think we hit those. To me, the coolest thing clearly was the first look trailer for Star Wars Resistance, which you can check on entertainmentboo.com. Just go there. If you can't find it, click the little magnifying glass and search for Resistance. It'll show up, trust me. But there's some other good stuff in there. I mean, is Hamill trolling us about Mara Jade? Probably. Who knows what Kerri Russell's going to be. She's at least not going to be some background scrub. She's going to be someone that is impactful to the overall narrative. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I 100% agree right there.
Yeah, and all the other fun stuff. So thanks for joining us as usual on Star Wars Time. This is Matt and Nick, leaving you as always with the saying of, may the Force be with you always.